Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. This is my Chubby Frog's enclosure and her name is Cho-Cho. She is currently hiding up here in this corner. I want to go into why she's hiding in that corner because it plays a role in why there's a stupid fake plant in here that drives me absolutely crazy. So I originally tried to keep live plants in this enclosure by putting a cork round standing upright, and I would plant soil into it and put a plant in it. And then Cho-Cho, every single time I did this, she would kill the plant by climbing into the cork round and uprooting it by burying herself in the cork round. I mean, she was in there so firm I could not get her out. I was like, okay, the cork is not working. I have to try something new. So then I decided to put some potting cups into the expanding foam background, which is how you see this philodendron planted in here now and why you see a hole up here. But there's no plant in that one because the moment I put Cho-Cho in here, she climbed right up this side and she went in there. And I was like, yep, I know if I put a plant in there, she's gonna uproot it. But I am just as stubborn as Cho-Cho, and I decided I'm gonna put a plant in there while she's eating. So I put a plant in her enclosure while she was out of her enclosure eating, and then the moment that I put her back in, the first thing she did was climb right up here and look down into it, and then I felt really bad because I was like, that's what she wants. This is what she wants, not what I want. It's not about what I want. So I took the plant out after it being in there for all of 38 seconds, and she lives in that little hole now. That is where she likes to hide. So instead of burying herself in soil, she just hides in a hole up high. I don't know why that's her preference, but it is. So instead of having like a symmetry worth of live plants in this enclosure, I have one pretty live plant and then I have a stupid fake plant next to it. I'm not sure if that's permanent. I'm not sure what I'll do with that corner of the enclosure that is now ugly, but it is Cho-Cho's world. I'm just living in it, okay? So I have to just listen to what she wants, and what she wants is to live in that hole. So I'm gonna give a quick overview of her enclosure and then I'm gonna dive into each area more specifically. But as you can see on the left over here, she has her stream area, she has her expanding foam background. The potting cups are in the expanding foam background, as well as the driftwood. So the driftwood is like attached to the background. It's not going anywhere. Then she has her bioactive soil, which I'll explain more in depth in a minute, and she also has this Hut log house thing that acts as a hide that she does not even use. First things first, I'm gonna address the substrate. So this is Bioactive Substrate, and it's a mix of substrates. So Cho-Cho has the same mix that Gamakichi has. Oh, don't mind my dog, he just started chewing on a toy in the background. So anyway, she has leaf litter and sphagnum moss. She also has eco earth and organic topsoil, and she has some of the terra firma by the Bio Dude. The reason that I choose to use a mix of substrates is, one, because personally I don't like eco earth, especially using it all by itself. It's just not an option. Or even if it's just eco earth and sphagnum moss, nope, I hate it. So I choose to use a mix of substrates. And then another reason I like using a mix is because I think it's more enriching. There's more textures, there's more like a difference in the substrate itself. So if I were to just have eco earth, it might not pack as well. If I were to just use sphagnum moss, there wouldn't be as much to burrow in. If I were to just use organic topsoil, maybe it'd be too fine. So if you have a mix of things, especially things like leaf litter, which are going to be good for the cleanup crew, which I'll get to in a minute, having a mix I think is really great for the enrichment. And the cleanup crew is a mixture of Springtails and dwarf white tropical isopods. Now, Cho-Cho in the past, in her former home, had been known to eat the isopods in her enclosure. I have not witnessed that behavior. I think maybe because they are smaller isopods and they hide much more frequently than other species of isopod. And I fully intend to add isopods to my other enclosures, like different species. I'm already looking into breeding them for my other enclosures, but my 2 frog enclosures will not be getting different isopods because I'm afraid they will try to eat them, and in doing so they will eat their substrate. So we're going to keep it just dwarf white tropical isopods and Springtails in this one. So that's what makes it bioactive, is the fact that there's a cleanup crew. And if you're interested in making a bioactive enclosure, or even if you're just interested in making bioactive substrate, or just, you know, breeding isopods or Springtails, you can go head over to Josh's Frogs. They have all types of stuff at their site. I use Josh's Frogs for like literally everything I do these days, and fortunately I have a discount code with them and you guys can use it too. It is Jessica15. I will include it in the description box down below. I will also include Josh's Frog's website. I will also include the species of plant that I have in this enclosure, which is the Philodendron. But anytime I post an enclosure tour, you can always expect to find the species of plants, Josh's Frog's website, and the discount code. If you're interested in any of those, please go ahead and check the links below. Okay, now that I've described the substrate, let's go ahead and get to the stream area. So the stream area is just this long rectangular section of the enclosure that is filled with moving water. That's why I call it a stream area. So moving water, there's a filter that makes it move, but it's not actually a stream because it can't actually go anywhere because it's an enclosed space, but you get my drift. So the reason I like to have moving water is, again, for enrichment, and also because when water isn't moving, it gets that like weird stagnant like film on the top of the surface, or it can get like kind of nasty. So if you have moving water, especially if it's a filter, that can help keep it clean and keep it also looking nice. But again, like I said, having it moving is really good for enrichment. Also, what you notice on the surface of the water right now are springtails. So this was created by using pieces of acrylic and then siliconing them together. I don't think that's actually a word, siliconing. I took aquarium safe silicone and I made the stream area. Now this is the one stream area I didn't have to build because the enclosure came with one, but I've built all the other stream areas and it's the same process for this one. So you just take the acrylic, you square it up in the enclosure how you want it, and then you take a gloved hand and you take a silicone tube and you take a an applicator, I'm not sure what it's called, but it's basically just like something you put the tube in, and then you spread silicone around the base and around the sides, and then you just smear it in with your finger, and then you let it cure for 2 days, and then test it for water. So put the rocks in and put water in and see if it holds the weight of your water and rocks, and if it does, you're good to go. But make sure you test it for more than like 5 minutes. Test it for a few hours because it could be a really slow leak. Oh, and I didn't mention this in Gamakichi's video, but if you have water that you need to treat, like dechlorinate it, please do that. I don't have to do that for my water because it's not chemically treated to begin with. It's just water that comes straight out of the ground, so I don't have to do that. But plenty of people do have to do that, so please remember to treat your water if you need to. So the filter that I use for this little section of water is by Zoomed, and it's a turtle filter, but I would never use it for a turtle because it's so small and insignificant. It would be pretty worthless. It definitely offers the like bacteria cycle if you were going to use it in something like a small frog or newt tank, but still I think I'd recommend something bigger or better than this like little compact thing. I'm telling you, it's small. It's like the size of my palm. I don't know why anyone would market it towards turtles. It's not a good idea. And then the last thing in the stream area are the rocks and the bamboo. The bamboo is just lucky bamboo, which can like live in anything, I swear. You just put it in some water, it'll grow. And then the rocks are by the brand Imagitarium, and they're from Petco. I chose them because they're large and they can't be swallowed by Chocho, and also because they have this like gorgeous red earthy tones and brown tones, and it goes well with the enclosure. So now we have the expanding foam background, which literally is just expanding foam. I didn't put any cork or anything in it, it's just expanding foam. And then I carved it, and then I took silicone and smeared that with an old paintbrush over top, and then I took a gloved hand and just took Eco Earth and organic topsoil and packed it in. I also took some sphagnum moss and put it on there as well, just to make it look a little cooler. The only thing that's actually in the expanding foam is this piece of driftwood, which is connected here and here. It's not going anywhere, it's in place. Then I have the potting cup up here and the potting cup up here, and basically what they are is a plastic cup with the bottom popped out, and then I put mesh in the bottom of the cup with silicone so that it would hold the soil in place but still allow for proper drainage. So that's all it is, very simple. And it might look more complicated than it is, but trust me, this is one of the more simple enclosures that has expanding foam background. This driftwood is a piece from Chubby. I think it's Fluker's driftwood, and it's actually like hit or miss when you order that driftwood. Sometimes you'll get a really neat piece and that's really big. Sometimes you'll get a really small piece that's not so neat, or you get a small piece that is neat, or you get a big piece that's not neat. I mean, it'll come in different shapes and sizes, so if you order it online, I'd order more than one just to be sure you might get something that you like. One of Chocho's favorite things to do is squeeze herself in here. So in addition to squeezing herself in here, she also squeezes herself in there. Last but not least, we have this Have a Hut hide thing. I put it in there just to take up more floor space and have more to interact with, and also as a hide if she wanted to use it as a hide. But she doesn't do anything with it. So that is the entirety of Chocho's enclosure. We have her stream area with the filter, the rocks, the bamboo. We have her expanding foam background that has her planting cups as well as her driftwood secured in place. We have that ugly fake plant because she refuses to let me put one in the planting pot. We have the driftwood from Flukers over at Chewy. We have her bioactive substrate, which is a mix of terra firma, organic topsoil, eco earth, sphagnum moss, and leaf litter. And then we have her little Have a Hut hide thing down here. So that is the entirety of her enclosure. It's pretty simple, but also not very simple. I mentioned this in Gamakichi's video, but people like to keep their like Pac-Man frogs or chubby frogs or their tomato frogs that are considered like they're not going to move unless food comes by, they're not really going to interact with their enclosure, they're just going to stay buried all the time. I thoroughly disagree with that. I think that given the opportunity, they will engage more with their enclosure. Chocho is a willful, powerful little frog. She likes to climb. She likes using her stream area. She likes planting herself in her background. I mean, come on now. She obviously likes to climb. So I think that given the opportunity to climb, given the opportunity to be enriched by their environment or to interact with their environment in different ways, something as simple as having a larger stream area than like having a bowl, or having running water instead of having still water, or having a live plant instead of a fake plant, or having driftwood, or having the background that they can climb on, or even just having a mix of substrates instead of one solid substrate. Whatever you can do to add enrichment to your animal's life is going to enrich their life. So that's why I chose to go the route of a more complicated, simple enclosure. Even though people may think that, you know, you don't need to do all that because they're just going to sit in the dirt the whole time. I'm going to include some clips now of Chocho eating and being super cute. So there's Chocho back there. I have to lure her out with tongs to feed her because she's always like too low down. Come on. Boop. Come on, it's food time. Oh, fine. Let me get a wax worm. Oh no, I don't want to drop it. No! Come on, you don't make this easy on me, queen. Oh my god. I can't see what I'm doing. Can't you just come out of your hidey hole? There she goes. So she's had 1 hornworm and 3 waxworms. I think she's done for the night. Why can't you just come out and make it easy for me? Last time she crawled right out. This time, nope. She's so cute. Here, I'll give her 1 more. Because she's just too cute for words. Ah! Ah! Oh, Chocho, I adore you. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed seeing Chocho's new and improved enclosure. If you did, please leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, hit the notification bell, all that good stuff, and I will see you guys in the next one. Bye!